planning and technical details phase is where all of the elements of the project are designed, detailed, and pre-planned for a seamless, strategic construction effort. What I've done here, Kevin, is I've put together some initial conceptual sketches of what I think the building elevation might look like, and just to give you a sense of the composition that we're working with and how they might work. And so just to go over this with you, showing that these are these glass bands that I've got right here and creating this rhythm that goes across.
Right.
Now, just for you is we've got 9 feet, another 9 feet, so roughly the height of the building maybe at the highest point, you might be looking at about 25, 26 feet from the grade level. So you can use that as a means to just determine the best way to technically put the drawings into the format for the plans. We're going to have a cantilevered roof area that we're proposing that hangs out. So when we get ready to talk to our structural engineer, we want to talk about how to support that. Cantilever that.
Right.
And then we're going to have materials. We'll probably have a cement plaster system that's going to be like the diamond wall system, and it'll probably be black. So we'll talk about that. It'll be we have the wildland urban interface here. So that already ties our hands because everything we do has to meet fire standards. So is there when you look at this, is there something here that you see that you just...
Yeah, what is this stripe through the whole project? Is it a feature or is it a band or what?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it is a band, and I'm thinking that it would be because Matt Janega likes steel. He likes steel work. And he said, I want to have some exhibited steel in the house. So what that is, I'm thinking, is a 12-inch U channel, tall, C channel, that's about 1.5 inch flange, galvanized. So it'll be that raw, unpainted, natural metal finish, and we'll have that mounted on the exterior, visible as sort of a defining band that goes around the project. So that'll be also something that we'll have to critically measure, because we want that to be wrapping all the way around this house at the same level.
So is this a site wall?
Yes, yeah.
So the band extends along the wall?
Yeah, it'll go into the landscape. So the site it'll erode off the house into a wall that just flows into the landscape like a fence, and it'll be mounted on that.
All right.
So we'll do that. And yeah, well, those are the, and then this will be probably a cement board paneling system for the upper elevation areas. It's like a hardy system, and we have samples in the back in the sample room, and we can define what that is. And I've talked to Lawai about this, and he's putting together a computer study to show painting that 2 different subtle colors in sort of an abstract pattern. It would be maybe the colors of the leaves out there and sort of the natural colors, and just exploring that, just an idea. So he's working on that.
Good.
And then we've got a parapet here, and then we've got some flat roof area.
What kind of roofing?
Metal standing seam for the sloped roof, and we'll use some sort of a mineral cap sheet for the flat roof.
Right.
That will give us our wildland urban interface standard. So that's where we're at the moment, and then I'll get some more sketches for you soon, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on this.
So here are some of the sketches that were drawn of the grand fire pit, and these sketches include all kinds of idea pointing to areas and wanting this to be drawn up in a legible, readable way. We start putting it into CAD and making it legible and readable.
Here's an image, a landscape plan, a preliminary plan of the Janega residence. And, here are a few thoughts about the landscaping, especially the front entry. I thought it was a nice resolution of the geometries that were created for this house. We'll see that the house has some 45-degree angles to the garage and to the main wing of the house. And that left a rectangular space that was developed into a courtyard and a terrace for the family to enjoy being outside. It's a little difficult to see in the drawing, but there is an awning covering a triangular shaped awning over the gravel area for shade. There's a barbecue for cooking, and another nice feature is a water element that has some boulders which were relocated from the existing creek on the property and placed into the water feature. So you see integration of the existing landscape with the landscaping inside the house. I think this will be a very enjoyable space for the family and friends to come to and have a chance to be outside. On one of my screens is a plan of the Jamaica residence showing the living, kitchen, dining room wing. And this is the south wall. There is a arrangement of the fireplace, utilities, appliances, and access to a pantry as well as the master bedroom. And what was the challenge for this part of the building was to integrate all of the elements into one visual element that tied together. It's really 3 rooms. So we see in this elevation of the living room, we have these horizontal lines represent the siding that is a hardwood siding veneer that's applied to the fireplace, to the doors, and also it is applied to the cabinets and to the refrigerator. So as you look at this wall, it looks as if there's nothing there, but that's not true. There's also appliances that are more or less hidden and hard to see. I think that's a nice design element to make the appliances more or less disappear, but they're accessible to the main part of the kitchen. Another part of the kitchen is an island that also serves as a work counter for the long counter against this wall. This drawing, we'll see the elevations and plan of the kitchen island. This was designed by Gary that incorporates some very nice materials and makes it a custom element. It becomes more or less the hub or the center for all friends and families to gather and enjoy being together while a meal is being prepared, or even having a light meal at the counter. It should be one of the focal points of the kitchen living room spaces.
So Loy, what we're trying to do is when we remodel that pool, we've got that tall back existing wall that's about 4 feet above the grade. We're going to be demoing that. We're going to be taking that out and just basically making the entire perimeter of the pool one level. And right now, I was joking with the client how I call it a fantasy pool, and it's, arguably one of the ugliest pools I've ever seen. But that being said, we're going to turn it into, the goal that we have here is this pool is going to stay in the project. We're not going to design a new pool, but instead we're going to make that pool feel as it is maybe the source of the river's water. Like it's a spring.
It's gonna feel like part of the river. And echo
the feel and character of the river. The goal here is if you look down in the river now, you're standing down on the bridge, there's a big pool down in there in the natural river, and it's black down in there, it's dark. And so we're going to plaster the interior of this pool so it's really black, and it feels really like a recessive swimming hole. What we really wanted to do is feel like we had actually intended this pool to be like this. This was part of the original design, that it wasn't even there before, and that nobody would know for different that this wasn't an intentional concept that we had developed as a part of the whole project.
And so, it just blends with the landscape.
And would be really cool is if we could
actually go down to they have some areas down on their site here on this 20 acres where there are some boulders that are practically the size of a car.
Wow.
We can go get those, and we can collect those boulders. We'll go down and we'll tag them, and we'll get a crane and we'll bring them up and we'll set them with a crane. So this is the kind of design, it's a little more organic. It's not quite as technical, it's truly art.
Yeah.
Because we're going to say this rock goes here, let's spin it here and do that. So so that's the goal. And the great thing about this is by us removing, like, right, just a sketch, like if we have that tall wall and the grade is here and the pool's here and the water level's here, we cut that off and somebody's standing up here and they're going to be able to look down now and see the full view of the water.
Yeah.
Because right now, because of the way the grade is in the existing pool, it cuts off half of the view of the pool. Now the one difference, see this one spot here where there's no boulders? We've got the infinity edge that they've already got in the pool, and that edge is in the same view, view from the interior of the house, looking over the canyon toward the river.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if it's falling off
the edge
and just going off down to the river.
Yeah.
So that's the idea that we're trying to do with the pool.
Nice.
Yeah. So, did you have any other thoughts? No. I was thinking about a deck.
Yeah. I mean, having a deck here, and make a cantilever over the pool, it also direct your views toward the infinity edge.
Yeah. The way we do that is make sure that the boards that the deck's built out of are purposely designed in the long direction so that they're pointing, look this way, look this way. So it's a visual clue to extend the view.
Exactly.
So that's the goal that we want to achieve just for this one little element, and we wanted to make it make sense. So if you use a rock like this, the idea is that we want to have that rock cantilever over the water, partly in the water like it's shown here, and feel as if it's a pond.
Yep.
So that's our goal.
So once we had worked out the floor plans the way we thought they would work well, then we began to draw the building sections. And here's one of the sheets of building sections. It's got quite a few views on it. We put some horizontal lines to study at what heights different surfaces meet, and we began to circle different features and intersections to draw them at a larger scale and really figure out how they connect. So on another sheet, we took each instant of different types of walls, and then we drew what's happening along that walls, at what height different things happen. And then something that needs to be zoomed in on, then we put a circle around it and drew it larger. Here's an example of the shade pocket that was quite complicated, but it's all worked out that it will work. So we end up with sheets and sheets of the overall plans, and then they become the detailed plans.